Welcome to MLSsoccer.com's Playoff Central presented by Samsung Galaxy. What a night we've had. We're here with Chivas USA goalkeeper Dan Kennedy, Simon Borg, and I'm Jason Seguini. And throw the script out the window for this postgame show, guys. There is a ton to get to. We're going to start with the New York-Houston game. Take a look at the highlights from that game. A quick look at the highlights, and it was Bradley Wright Phillips getting off to the first goal. Brad Davis answering, 2 errors leading to both of those goals. Tally Hall playing a big game for the Houston Dynamo. And then in the end, it was Houston with the Omar Cummings goal in overtime. I mean, at this point, I feel sorry for Red Bulls fans having to go through this over and over, guys. What was it, Simon? I mean, where did this come from the Houston Dynamo?
It's the story of resilience. It's what they're known for in the playoffs. They continue to fight and fight and fight. They were down two goals in the first leg. They were down again in this leg. Their goalkeeper commits an error. He recovers. And that encapsulates what Tally Hall's night encapsulates the Dynamo's run in this particular series. You're down, but you're never out, and you keep fighting until you get it through.
Dan, you're a goalkeeper. I mean, you make a big mistake like that in a huge game like this. What's going through your head, and what do you have to do to make it through the rest of the game without making similar errors?
Right. The big error came early for Tally, and he was able to settle his nerves, and he came back with 2 fantastic saves, and the team rallied around him. Houston sustained the pressure of New York in the second half. You knew a couple chances were going to come in overtime, and sure enough, they did. Omar Cummings was capable enough to capitalize on that opportunity. I don't know how he was opening the box. I don't know how he splits the 2 defenders, but it was a fantastic finish. And you got to feel a little bit for Red Bull fans, but gosh, this Houston team just finds a way to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Tally Hall coming up with those big saves. New York pressured. They had a lot of the ball for this game. Thierry Henry hitting the post. Yep. He had that cutback move that he wasn't able to finish on. He also had the bicycle kick that you saw kind of skirt by, Simon. For New York, it seems like we've seen this movie over and over every year in the playoffs.
Yeah, for Henry, it wasn't his night. You wanted the big play from him to really. That's why you have the DP. That's why you have Thierry Henry to make that play that takes you that step above a team like Houston that doesn't have that has a different kind of DP. He didn't come through with the play, but I also would point out the fact that Bradley Wright Phillips, Ibrahim Sakaggia, and David Carney, all 3 are summer acquisitions made by the Red Bulls, international acquisitions, and all 3 had a hand in costing the Red Bulls during this Houston series. Carney with the giveaway in the first leg, Sakaggia with his role in the goal here, and Wright Phillips had 2 golden opportunities early.
All right, unfortunate for the Red Bulls. They couldn't get the most out of their signings. We talked about it. Houston got the most out of their goalkeeper. He made a mistake early. He was able to rebound from it, play a fantastic game. Our own Katie Witham is out at Red Bull Arena. She spoke with Tally Hall after the match.
All right, Tally, New York got on the board first in this one in the 23rd minute. Walk me through kind of what happened on that goal from your perspective, and then was it almost like a wake-up call? Because after that, you were lights out.
Well, it was the right decision from me. It was just poor execution. And so it's kind of like when you're making the right decisions, things just kind of fall your way. It didn't happen there, but Bobby came up to me immediately. Brunner came up to me, said, "Hey, this team has your back. We're going to get one back for you. Don't worry about it. Just keep playing like yourself." And that's what's special about this team. I mean, we have each other's back, and so there's just something. That's like, man. There's just something to be said about that team effort. I mean, we're all together. We're not in there arguing. We're coming together as a team. Whatever. It was another fun game to be a part of.
That team effort gave you guys your first win over this New York Red Bull team this season. You guys absorbed a lot of their offensive pressure. Just when you look at this one, what was the key in getting the result?
Just being a team, keeping a good team shape. I mean, they have so many offensive weapons. It's like you have to work together. You have to cover one-on-one. They're extremely good, and so you have to cover. You have to balance. The guys did that excellently tonight. I mean, it was like, I'm so happy that I'm on the Dynamo. I'm so happy to be a part of this Houston team. And that's why I think you look back at the history, the reason we have 2 stars on our jersey is because it's the team mentality, and the reason we're still in it for a third is because of that mentality.
Well, and you guys are still in it now, headed to the Eastern Conference Championship. Tally, appreciate the time. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
There you have Tally Hall after the game. I think that's what you want to hear, Dan, right? When you make a mistake, you have your center backs come up to you, say they have your back, and kind of give you that extra boost to make it through the game, right?
Without a doubt, and that's why this team came out with the result tonight and in this series. You can see it on the field. They were just more of a unit all night, and they picked and choose their moments, whether they were stuck defending at times, but they were defending in a way where you never really felt like New York was going to break them down unless something really special happened. And it just didn't come for New York. So you have to tip your hat to Houston, and now maybe this is their year.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of guys at the end of the game banged up for the Red Bulls. You had Tim Cahill kind of limping through the end. Sakagya had that injury that maybe led to him making a poor decision on that pass. That's definitely debatable. But then late in overtime, you had Omar Cummings, a guy who came off the bench for the Houston Dynamo, made a big impact. This is his second game coming through for them in the clutch.
And he combines with the other substitute for the Dynamo, Cam Weaver, coming in with the header. And we knew the New York Red Bull center backs would be at the center of everyone's attention because of the absence of James and Olave. We didn't think they would both be involved on that same play. Where does that ball go through? Cummings with the deflection between both defenders. Neither could get a touch on it.
I mean, you almost felt for Robles getting there half a second late. I mean, that ball could have been more than an inch or two over the line, if that. Let's take a listen. Katie Witham talked to Dominic Kinnear after the game as well. Let's take a listen to Dominic Kinnear before we move on to the second match of the night.
Well, Dom, your Dynamo team comes up with their first win this season over the Red Bulls. What did you think of this game, and how'd you get the result?
Well, we just grinded it out, Katie, to be honest. Obviously, we gave up a softie. We got a good one back there from Brad. And then it was just kind of, Tally made some huge saves down the end. We were, trying to catch him on the breaks. We were sitting deep, a little bit tired. And obviously, the ball getting pushed over the line was the winner for us. So no better time to beat him than tonight.
Now, New York did create a lot of opportunities, but a credit to your defense, how composed they stayed. And then specifically, Tally in goal tonight. It seemed like after that first one, he really locked it in. Just how important was his performance?
It was excellent for us. Not only the saves, but cutting out crosses. It relieves a lot of pressure. He's done that before for us. So, when the goal went in, you feel bad for him, but there's a lot of time left. And obviously, after that, he really took care of his goal well.
Now you're headed home for the Eastern Conference Championship. Dom, appreciate the time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, Katie. It's good seeing you.
All right, guys, the Houston Dynamo move on to the Eastern Conference Championship game. That game will be Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the NBC Sports Network. And now we know they will be taking on Sporting KC again. It's not an MLS Cup playoffs. If the Houston Dynamo and Sporting Kansas City aren't playing, this one, we'll take a quick look at the highlights of this match. It was a back-and-forth affair that started with Aurelian Collin getting another goal. He scored, of course, in the first leg of this series, and then he was able to do it again for Sporting Kansas City, getting them on the board in the 41st minute.
Jason, this game, though, started with chance after chance for Sporting Kansas City, and you thought it would be the same script until that goal in the 41st minute. An unlucky deflection off of Andrew Farrell, but Aurelian Collin is there to put it home.
And then it was answered by Mbongo. And remember that this is a huge save by Matt Reese that happened before that Mbongo goal. Here's a foul by Beasler. Questionable foul. Some people thought there wasn't much contact. That's where the Mbongo goal comes from. A fantastic finish on his part. Remember, that put the New England Revolution up on aggregate, but answered by Seth Sinovic. What a goal that was from your left back. When your left back can run onto a ball and take it one time and hit it like that, that's something special.
Just a special strike, pure class. I mean, the game, like Simon said, was open. There was chances, and this is what we wanted from Sporting Park. We wanted the crowd to get behind it. It was a fantastic atmosphere for the game, and that's why you saw the goals. The goals finally came for Kansas City. So now, can they put Houston to bed? Can they move on and in this next series really do something special?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about ghosts in the playoffs, and New York has those playoff demons that they're dealing with. Well, the playoff demon for Sporting Kansas City is the Houston Dynamo. Let's see how they finally won this game. Juan Agudelo had a chance for New England. Jimmy Nielsen came up huge. Then later in the overtime, it's a ball that gets thrown out by Matt Reese, intercepted by Benny Feilhaber, takes it down the wing, crosses it, and what a finish by no one else than Claudio Bieler.
And we talked about Bieler and how he could be a factor in this game. He's the guy they signed as a DP to address the scoring issues they've had in the playoffs in years past. He's a guy who in the box knows what to do. That was a finisher's finish by Bieler. They brought him on late. There were recollection of Omar Bravo and what happened there when they brought him late in the series against Houston a couple of years back. He was the DP that was in the doghouse for a little. He couldn't make an impact in that game. Bieler has enough time to do it in this game in extra time. So I think they're going to need Bieler against Houston if, again, they want to take that step above and past Houston. This is the guy who years past they didn't have. This year they have him.
I mean, it's interesting because he goes from not even traveling to New England to becoming the hero out in Sporting Park. And whatever it was that kept him off the field in New England and off the plane to even make that trip, you wonder, is that still lingering, or does this goal send it all out the window and now maybe he's your go-to guy and you got to get him on the field?
I think that's the biggest question for Vermes coming into this next game is, can he start him? And you've seen his impact. It's huge. It's huge for this team. And this could be a real turning point for Bieler in this organization, and maybe like we talked about, turning the page on Houston.
We talked about the playoff demons. What has it been that hasn't let Sporting get past Houston in the past? I mean, I feel like we've harped on it for the last 2 years because we've seen the same thing happen over and over. But the Houston Dynamo seem to have Sporting's number when it comes to the playoffs.
What happens is, at home, the Houston Dynamo are able to get a lead on Sporting Kansas City, are able to really get in Sporting Kansas City's heads. They don't let them really get started and get their game flowing. Then when they go to Kansas City, they just sit back and let Kansas City deliver all those crosses in, and with the towers that Houston has in their back line, they're able to ward off all danger, and so it becomes easy. That's why you need Bieler in this game. He's going to allow you to have that guy in the box that's not just crosses, but you can play through the middle and know someone's there who knows what to do with the ball.
We saw it against New York. That was Houston's game plan today against New York, and it worked.
And without a doubt, Houston is this team that is built greatly for these two-game series because they can sustain that pressure. They can go 45 minutes like they did in the second half tonight and not create anything, but they survived it, and so they're still in the game.
Right. It's amazing to me that you look in the past, and I feel like this year it's probably even harder to tell the difference between the Sporting team and Houston. In the past, I feel like Sporting has been the favorite by, people thought they were going to win the series. Now, after the last 2 years, you can't even say Sporting, they might be the higher seed, they might have home field advantage, but can you really call them a favorite here?
I don't know that it's too early, I think, to say there is a favorite in this series to begin with, Sporting versus Houston. Both teams have had their issues coming into the playoffs, and I don't know that we have our answers. Look, in this Kansas City game, they got a goal on a lucky deflection by a defender. They had their left back come up with the best goal of his life. And then Bieler.
Do you know that for a fact?
Bieler, again, is the guy who needs to score the goals. He comes up with the goals. So the forward department still has issues.
Sure.
Unless you're starting Claudio Bieler.
Yeah, I agree.
It will be fascinating to see what happens as this series develops. Again, they are going to get it underway on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. It's on the big network, so available to everyone out there. I looked up the weather, 75, partly cloudy, a great day for soccer. I don't know that the weather is going to play a factor here at all for either side. Guys,
what will play a factor is that break between legs. Houston Dynamo, they have played a bunch of games here. 3 games in 6 days by my count. And so they're going to play another one here in short order, but then they have a break until that second leg. They can recharge the batteries before they go into Kansas City for the decisive leg.
Yeah, nobody can decide if it's 3 games in 7 days or 6 days. Simon insists it's 6 days. Dan has now bought into that. He's on board there. I'm still going with 7 days. Either way, they've played a lot of soccer. They've done it successfully. They're going to have one more game cramped into this tight space, and it's going to be at home. So that, when you look at it, that break, that extra week break is really going to bode well for Houston as they go into Sporting Kansas City for the second leg.
And the field at BBVA Compass Stadium hasn't been ideal, and it's affected teams that want to play, and you wonder if it will impact Sporting Kansas City's game.
All right, guys, we're wrapping up from here. I think while we have you, though, we should talk about our live pregame for tomorrow. Real Salt Lake versus the Los Angeles Galaxy, that game in Salt Lake. And then, of course, the Portland Timbers and the Seattle Sounders. We will round out the final 4 teams in the MLS Cup playoffs. Of course, you can see us live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be joined by Corey Gibbs. We're going to send Dan back to the cushy West Coast beach life that he lives. But Dan, while you're here, give me your prediction for the 2 series tomorrow. How do you think it ends up with Salt Lake and Los Angeles?
Well, I think Salt Lake has achieved great this year for the turnover that they've had in their team. But I think Galaxy's a stronger squad, and I think they'll come out victorious in that series. Looking at the other game, it's going to be a great game. Seattle and Portland. For whatever reason, I feel like Seattle's just on the edge, and if they can find a way to get that early goal, that could be one for the history books. It can be really a spectacular game with maybe a lot of goals. It'd be a great atmosphere.
You think there's a tipping point here where Seattle finally starts clicking and things start going their way?
I surely hope so. I think there's been so much put into that organization, and they have such a great fan base. It would make this playoff series all that more special.
All right. Again, log on to MLSsoccer.com, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday night for our live pregame show before that doubleheader. Thank you very much, Dan Kennedy, for coming out to the East Coast. We really enjoyed your company tonight. It was fun watching the games with you. Sorry if I stepped on your foot a couple of times, jumping up in the air and yelling at the TV screen. We are headed out of here. Thank you again for joining us on MLSsoccer.com's Playoff Central, presented by Samsung Galaxy. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
You had a stamina to be a challenger on the field of life. Gotta feel the fight and the physical anguish, anger. Reach down in yourself, this pain is no stranger. So opponents, components are broken down. You need a brave heart, gotta play hard. With power, will and grace, we will disgrace anyone that steps in our face. Just me versus you, win or lose, no number 2, only number 1. So I'm holding on with all my might. Are we been the mice on the turf, field, court, heel, course, track, ring, blue. Any place you wanna take it to, cause rain can't stop me, wind can't move us. Even in the show, we'll never be losers. This is not a game. I don't do it for the money or the fame. This is not a game. Win, lose, or draw, it will never be the same. This is not a game. I don't do it for the money or the fame. This is not a game. Win, lose, or draw, it will never be the same. I got the heart of a tiger, mind of Ali. So game motivated, famous, overrated. The new Joe Namath, pain is messy. I'm so Wayne Gretzky, King original. Dr. J, Aqua Wade. You beat me, well, not today. I run right through this fast as Carl Lewis. Jump so high, almost land where the moon is. So who is the champion? I never play this sport if it can't be won. To all of you, I tell you the truth. You gotta come out.